Hey Chestnuts, Sasha here and welcome to the Spanner Lab. I recently had a go at streaming on OBS, so just a practice run. There's a few technical difficulties. I'm aware of them, don't worry, I know. I'm going to try and get those fixed up for next time, but in the meantime, I hope you enjoy. Oh, straight away I'm in another game. Really? Right, I'm going to play badly. How's that? If you won't let me go berserk, I'm gonna go badly. I'm gonna play badly. I'll play this opening. Temptation. Really? You let me do that? This is why I go berserk and you don't. Please don't go to B6. Okay. I'm going to cancel kingside because there's just no pawns over this side. Like, I know I'm deliberately playing badly to give my opponent a chance, but there's badly and there's badly. Like, not taking that queen would have been just horrendous. I'm thinking of maybe pushing the e-pawn. Because if the f-pawn captures, then I can bring my knight in. Bear a bit more pressure on that d7 square. Okay, well, just gonna push. Keep pushing. Okay. What do I do here? I have 4 minutes to think about it. Might as well settle in. Okay. So if I capture here, of course the knight captures and attacks the queen. What if I capture here? Bishop captures, and then rook d1, and then what do they do? I really can't take the bishop. It's not safe. There's so much pressure against that king right now. It doesn't feel safe. Like, obviously I've not calculated the entire line. But yeah, it wasn't safe to take that bishop. So now let's have a look at this in the heat of the midday sun. So I am a little bit haloed here. I need to really sort out my recording setup. But lockdown, hey. So let's take a look at this one. So I'm looking at it from my opponent's perspective. Let's have a look right back at the beginning of the game. So I opened a4. My opponent wouldn't give me time odds, so I was determined to give myself to give her some move odds, or, you know, eventually some piece odds, because what my idea was to try and bring these pawns forward and try and open this position like I can open it. If that meant sacrificing the rook to do it, then so be it. I want people to learn, and they need to learn how to win as well as how to lose. So knight c6 got played. I pushed h5 just to allow my opponent a little bit more developing time, and the queen came out. Please do not bring the queen out early. You put it into danger, especially if you're not good at spotting threats. If you know that you're a player who struggles with vision and spotting threats, do not bring your queen out early, because you're not going to spot when it's in danger. Can you see the danger? It's a discovered attack. So by moving that pawn out of the way, yeah, that pawn's attacked twice, but it's quite irrelevant right now because that queen's under attack. That queen needs to go back somewhere safe before we can deal with this position in the centre. And as it happens, it doesn't. That pawn gets taken. Lose the queen. f6 comes to push the bishop back. Bishop goes to f4. It's fine. Happy there. And in an attempt to save the pawn on c7, which is now under attack, the king goes to d8, giving up the right to castle. And this will prove fatal, as we saw. Keeping the king in the centre is not safe. If instead Black had ignored this threat, pushed bishop to b4, you get c3 happening, take that pawn on c3, knight takes on c3, and then we push d6. So blocking that threat. So that pawn is now safe. That bishop can't take it anymore. So we've got a piece out and defended that piece. So you don't always have to move a piece to defend something. You can block the threat. It was important to move the bishop out first, of course, because if we hadn't moved the bishop out, this would have stopped the bishop out from getting out from here. So it's important to move the bishop out first. So it's important to think about move order. So after king d8, this game is over. So let's look ahead to when that actually happened and flip the board. Okay, so from this point on, I am focused pretty much solely on d7. That king is stuck in the middle, cannot castle, and that makes it very, very weak. I don't have that many pieces out, so I want to try and bring some more in to start this attack. So first things first, I play e4 to get my bishop out. a5 gets played for no good reason. There's no good reason to play a5 right now. It doesn't achieve anything. A far better move would be something like h6, stopping me from pushing this pawn forward. Not that I would have done, because I was entirely focused on d7 in this position. Or just trying to get a bishop out, trying to get that rook to f8, which is going to be critical later. But that doesn't happen. So bishop comes to b5. Now I've got two pieces looking at d7. How many pieces does black have guarding the d7 square? That's right. I'm assuming you got it right. It's 2. So the king and the bishop are also guarding the d7 square, which means I need to get one more piece in there, and then I can start cracking open this king. Rook comes to e8. Would have been better on f8, and we'll see why in a second. I castled, and f5 got played. Bad move. I didn't spot quite how bad of a move. Like it let me push the pawn forward to get into d7, which is where I was focusing my efforts, but it's also let go of another key square. So the g5 square is quite important right now, because look at black's king position. Before you make a move in chess, the first thing you want to ask yourself before you play any other move is my king safe? That is the number one question that your move should answer. If your answer is not yes by the time you've decided on a move, it's not the right move. You need to start again. This king, because of that rook on e8, because of that bishop on c8, is smothered. That king can't go anywhere. So in this position, f6 lets go of g5, I can bring the knight in. I'm threatening checkmate. Just give you a second to spot the checkmate. No, it's not white's turn. That would do it. So if black misses it, play something like h6 to drive the knight away, checkmate. However, if black does spot it, plays f8 to guard that square. Now, again, give you a second to spot the tactic. It uses a fork and a pin. So there is a pinned piece on the board and a fork that exploits that fact. Okay, so knight to e6 forks the king and rook, and it does sort of look like the pawn can take here, but of course it can't, because the queen is pinning that pawn to the king. So that pawn can go nowhere. So king has to move to d8, it's the only square left. White doesn't have to take the rook straight away, but white is quite decisively winning in this position. Instead of f5, after f5 I played e5, because I'm just slowly going after this d7 pawn. I can see that the end is in sight. g6 again doesn't do anything, doesn't improve that king position, which is bad. So number one question, is my king safe? Again, is answered with a no. And then I push e6, because all I'm looking at is, right, 1, 2, 3. That's all I need. c6 gets played. Blocks that bishop. It's also a really, really bad move, but I didn't spot it. So does it even count? Maybe not. But there is a checkmate available. Again, utilizing the fact that the king is almost completely smothered. It's not a smothered mate, because the king isn't actually completely smothered. It has one square available, but this check will cover that one square. So queen takes b6 is mate. Instead, I took on d7, because I have rightly worked out that c takes b5 isn't actually a threat here. C takes b5 is mate in 2. So that it doesn't work at all. So I'd spotted it by that point. So the mate in 2, if you haven't spotted it, if after he takes d7, pawn takes, we've got mate in 2 with check here, king has to take the pawn, and then the queen is covering all of these squares. So it's not any check is mate, but any check that can't be blocked is mate. And when you want to make a check that can't be blocked, what piece do you use? The knight. So we're looking at a lot of different checkmates here. So bishop took on d7 instead of the pawn taking the bishop. I brought rook to d1. Again, it's not safe to take that bishop, so you can't take it. Took it anyway. And another type of checkmate. So this was a good game to look at because of the sheer number of different ways I could have and didn't get checkmate. So I missed opportunities. Hopefully by looking at that I will improve, and hopefully you will improve as well. Well, that was that. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. If you'd like to learn something, let me know in the comments below. Also, yeah, I am aware of the technical difficulties. I've already started fixing up the OBS for next time. But if you do think of anything that I probably haven't spotted, let me know in the comments as well. As ever, like and subscribe. The more people subscribe, the more effort I can put up into improving this channel and making better content, really. So see you again next time. Bye.